We are producing mobile packet systems for rural areas and less developed countries because of their easy installation. And I want to tell you, how does it work? The system doesn't need any energy source except hydro energy. The sewage and wastewater come into our pre-sedimentation tank by only gravity. In the pre-sedimentation tank, the wastewater loses its solid substance value about 90%. And then water goes to aeration unit. Aeration unit includes one water turbine and one seal and one rock or plastic media. On the plastic media, beneficial bacteria eat harmful bacteria. Then the water goes to less sedimentation tank. After the less sedimentation tank, we are sending our water to agricultural irrigation. You can check our first prototype application in our video record after the presentation. And we have, you can see our results in here. They are inlet values and there is outlet values. And what's our suggestion for the less developed countries and refugee camps? As you know, mobile toilets have existed world for a long time. However, they are coming with any clean and operation problem. And they are collecting the water in a septic tank like a rural areas. Our solution is connect with a mobile toilet with our system, and then we can use the water to agricultural irrigation. Because you have a sewage. If you have a sewage, you have to treat it. You can't send it on the ground without treatment. If you do this, you have a contaminated and smelling areas, and you are losing the water. Thank you. And lastly, I want to say why we are focused on this topic, and I want to say we are ready to applicate any areas, and we will be glad to work with you. Thank you.
This is my message to you. Don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
Do you know which is the country with more internally displaced after Syria? Colombia, the country where I come from. Due to a war with more than 50 years, we have 8 million people displaced, half population of Istanbul. And do you know which is the country with more international displaced people after Syria in 2018? Venezuela, our neighbor. Due to its economic and political situation, we have received more than 1 million people in our country. And I'm telling you this because we have moved from being displaced to receive refugees, and we know their stories and their situation very close. The stories like Anna's family. Anna have walked more than 200 kilometers through the route of the walker to reach Colombia, and ended up living in a rural community without employment, without water, and without sanitation, along with other Colombian displaced. My name is Jennifer, and I'm the director and co-founder of Tierra Grata. And since the last 3 years, I have heard these stories once and once again. And I decided to dedicate my life to rural development, and I want to introduce those who heard these stories with me. We are a very young team and multidisciplinary, very committed with the development of our country and every country who needs basic services. And along with feeling indignation about hearing these stories, we decided to take action. And we decided to create solutions to improve the life quality of families like Anna's. So we decided to create Tierra Grata, a social enterprise that provides access for water, energy, and sanitation services to rural communities. And in the life of sanitation, we have developed a solution called Baño Grata. It is a decentralized sanitation service that doesn't use water. We provide a rent, a space, a comfortable and safe space that have a space to take shower and also a separate toilet. We also offer a service of collection, weekly collection of the solid waste. So we collect them, treat, and then commercialize it. So we are not just providing an access for safe sanitation, but also an employment opportunity for the refugees, because they will be the one who be in charge of the collect, treatment, and the commercialization of the fertilizer. In 3 years, we have installed more than 200 solutions in 11 communities in our country, reaching around 2,100 users. That means changing the life of millions of people without basic services. And also we have the opportunity to receive grants and recognitions from different organizations, such as the UNDP in Colombia, the UN Environment, the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB, and others. In Tierra Grata, we have faced the challenge to improve the life quality of millions of people in rural areas. We have changed the reality, especially with those who doesn't have access to safe sanitation. And we want to continue growing and expand our solutions to Turkey and to change and transform the realities of the people that are living without a toilet. So they will change their life to use a toilet like this, and starting using a toilet, a safe toilet that gives them dignity and also reduce the risk of, for example, for women to have harassment that also happens in rural areas. As a Colombian, we have faced the challenge to be displaced from our territory due to an armed conflict, but also we have faced the challenge to create solutions and to transform the realities. Today, we have a solution that has the potential to increase the life quality of millions of people in rural areas. And with your support and with your investment, we can make safe sanitation a reality for millions of families. We have more than 3 years working in rural areas. This is our expertise. And our solutions are very adapted to rural contexts. And we are experts also and empower the community. What we are looking for is for partners to implement, to expand our solution in Colombia and also to implement in Turkey. And also we are looking for partners to implement our business model here in refugee camps and in rural areas. Do you want to be part of us?
So this was the ending of the live in-person pitches. So we have 2 more pitches. One of the founders is based in Boston. She had a baby. Not that she had a baby during the crisis. She had a baby before the crisis. She's still aimed to be in Boston, but she sent us the recording. We're going to play that now, and then we'll live connect to the last founder from India. This is just to make it clear for a lot of people in the room. This is probably the only global accelerator in the region that's brought so many founders in a short amount of time. There are different for-profit or technology entrepreneurship-focused accelerator programs, mostly run by universities and private competitions, but this is a really interesting case where public-private partnership has brought a lot of global companies together, and you've seen a lot of variety as well. This one's from US, last one from India, and you've seen many others as well. So I know it's really difficult to focus on some video and the founders out there, but do your best. We'll get only 2. Here's Jade Wilton-Labs.
Founder of Transporter Labs. Our team is leveraging 50 years combined experience across clean tech commercialization, venture finance, engineering, manufacturing, and international development to increase access to safe, sustainable sanitation with a waste-shrinking foot. Around the world, 40% of people lack access to a safe toilet in their homes, largely because they live in homes and communities with no sewage plumbing. When you can't flush, things get messy fast, and collecting all that unflushed sewage is costly. Change Water thinks everyone should have a safe toilet in their home, but we need to invent a new way to flush away waste. We shrink it. Human waste is 95% water. Instead of flushing it, we evaporate it. We've developed a low-cost membrane that evaporates and shrinks daily waste fast, turning most of that volume into clean water vapor. This demo shows how tubes of our membrane evaporate liquid water inside fast without external power or heat. By quickly dehydrating waste, our material essentially acts like shrink wrap for crap. We're also developing another key technology, a P-powered biobattery. This biobattery converts urine into electricity, which we can use to power ventilation systems for getting rid of toilet odors. Using these two technologies, we've developed the iThrone, a portable, waste-shrinking, space-saving toilet that evaporates daily sewage on site. The iThrone uses replaceable pouches of our membrane to collect solid and liquid waste, which then quickly vaporize or flush away 95% of it on site. In addition, the P-powered biobattery powers a fan to eliminate odors. So our toilets eliminate on-site daily waste with no need for external power or plumbing. So the iThrone keeps things clean, reduces odor, and installs anywhere. The iThrone targets the growing need for domestic sanitation in crowded urban slums and is a drop-in solution for emergency sanitation. Governments and NGOs already spend $73 billion a year on sanitation, and the global market specifically for portable toilets is about $18.2 billion per year. And sewage removal services is potentially a $50 billion per year market. Initially, we'll target B2B channels selling to the businesses along the sanitation value chain, the construction contractors, and the servicers. In future, we'll sell to governments and NGOs who purchase millions of toilets every year, especially for disaster relief and transitional sanitation. Already, with no marketing efforts, we have inbound orders from 3 contractors for 6,000 units, worth potentially $2 million in sales. We will capture margins of $70 to $170 in toilet sales and $20 to $300 per toilet per year on monthly replacement pouches. The iThrone will get safe sanitation to more people in slums, camps, and crisis situations. By shrinking sewage, the iThrone cuts costs while increasing access and servicing efficiency. The funding spent on one communal toilet could instead support 4 of our household toilets. Instead of each collector servicing a small number of container toilets daily, they could service 20 times more of our iThrones monthly for a family in a slum or refugee camp. An iThrone in their home reduces their daughter's risk of being raped, their children's risk of diarrhea, and their community's exposure to vector-borne infectious disease. Our toilet reduces water use and pollution and converts waste into clean water. Our waste dehydrating technology reduces carbon emissions from collections and methane off-gassing from wet sewage. Funded by a grant from the Humanitarian Grand Challenges, this fall, we will deploy 5 alpha prototypes to Uganda to be followed by 10 to 15 beta units next year. We target market launch by 2021. Delivering those first 6,000 LOI units, we can already improve 600,000 lives. With strong demand for portable toilets, especially from India and China, we expect to be profitable by 2022 and have sold 150,000 toilets by 2024. We see opportunity to work with the SDGia partners to address needs of transitional populations hosted in Turkey by providing an integrated solution to address needs in wash, energy access, and potentially agricultural production. Change Water Labs believes that safe sanitation is a basic human right, so please support us in our work and help us change water. Thanks.
So, one of the co-founders of Change Water Labs, Huda, was with us in the pre-accelerator period, and once they get back, they really had a good time to focus on what can be done in Turkey, much like the other water teams here. The field visit actually gave them a lot of exposure to the problems, and all of them are working towards solutions which we are important for all of us. Now the last one will be Mayan. He was also with us during the pre-accelerated period. He's the founder of Guard, based in India. And if everything works out, he's going to be pitching for the last time. Last pitch of the Mayan.
Hi, please.
Perfect. Share your screen, brother.
Well, thank you.
And you can start whenever you're ready. You can hear a lot of it.
Just a second. Thank
No
you.
problem. Nice. You can see it if you do it full screen. We're with you. Yes. Start whenever you're ready. Thanks so much.
Am I audible?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right, great. Hi, everyone. My name is Mayank Midda, and I am the co-founder of Guard Toilets. Today, we reach out to the underserved communities through 721 smart toilets, providing about 300,000 services every day and saving a lot of carbon footprint. I just need a favor from all of you. Please close your eyes for a few seconds and imagine the filthiest public toilet you have ever seen. I'm sure it's not a pretty sight. Most of the underserved communities in densely populated areas are dependent on public toilets. And many of the times these public toilets are filthy, unhygienic and vandalized and also irregularly maintained. That basically leads to the residents of these communities to open defecation. And a large part of this burden is borne by the women, millions of women and adolescent girls living in these communities where they have to adjust their bio schedules every day. They have to go out in the open to relieve themselves in the dark hours. And in the process, many a times they face harassment, molestation, and in extreme cases, rape. In spite of the concerted efforts of the Indian government, we still have about 5 million urban slum households that lack access to basic sanitation services, as well as similar number of households lacking access to clean drinking water. Moreover, there is rapid urbanization that is taking place that's putting pressure on the already inadequate infrastructure. So we observed that there is a need to develop a solution which is alternative, which is sustainable and can be scaled rapidly. So we developed an indestructible and smart toilet solution which is portable and modular. We made it out of stainless steel so that it can be made in a prefabricated manner, as well as it lasts for a lifetime and cannot be vandalized easily. Moreover, it uses lot less water for cleaning. We made it eco-friendly so that it's powered by solar power and it's equipped with decentralized waste management solutions. We made it inclusive so that it provides all the MHM requirements of women and adolescent girls. We also made it smart with the introduction of smart technologies where it's taking care of self-flushing and self-cleaning. Further, we integrated the whole solution with the RFID and Internet of Things devices, where with these devices we are solving two purposes. One, increasing the operational efficiencies, where our backend teams are able to track which toilets are malfunctional and when they require to replace the spares. Second, we are able to track in real time that how many people have used the toilet and whether they are washing their hands or not, whether they are flushing the toilets or not. So these data points are really helpful for us in working with the communities over a long term for improving hygiene behaviors and improving the health parameters of the communities that we work with. At present, we believe that there is a total addressable market of about $1.5 billion only in India, where we generate our revenues through sales of toilets and subscription services where the users pay and use the services. The immediate available market is anywhere close to about $120 million. Over the last few years, our solution has been appreciated and awarded globally by multiple organizations. And last year, we have been able to increase our impact and installations by about 4x. For the solution of refugee camps in Turkey, what we observed was that most of the distressed communities, the people are looking forward to have facilities, all the basic facilities at one point, where we are now proposing an integrated wash center, where apart from the smart toilets, we'll provide bath facilities, drinking water facilities, and a laundry at the same point. So this integrated wash center, the business model is going to be simple, where we only work with B2B and B2G segments. And supported by CSRs, we would like to roll out these integrated wash centers where we'll operate and maintain the centers as well. We have an experienced team of an average experience of 14 plus years into manufacturing, business development, government sales, as well as rural management, a total team strength of 28. We believe that in Turkey, if we work with UNDP, the government of Turkey, and Gates Foundation, plus supported by Exasipasi, we'll be able to work on clean water and sanitation, that's SDG 6, in a way creating a much larger impact on more SDGs that are impacted through our solution by rolling out integrated wash centers in the next 5 to 6 months. Thank you.
That's much appreciated.
Thank you.
See you soon. Take care. Bye.
Right. Thanks. Bye.
So that adds up the whole patch. Livelihood, digital ID, non-water toilet, sewage, and water sanitation patches are all done. It's been a pleasure and a super fast period where 3 weeks ago, most of the teams, actually a month ago, they received an email on Sunday asking them to come to Turkey on Friday. And all of them were like, "Are you serious?" And we're like, "Yeah, kind of." And they showed up. Not because we're giving away a lot of money, not because we're giving them all this luxurious hotels and everything else. They actually suffered through 2 bus trips from Istanbul to Ankara. So thank you so much from our end to all the founders that suffered through us. A big round of applause for the founders and to each other. Congratulations, you're done. Now back to the strange diplomat for the final closure discussion.
Thank you, Ozan. Well, congratulations to all the teams. You've done a great progress in the way you presented your projects. It's super exciting. It will be very hard for us to decide, with which one of those teams we will continue our journey. But this is not a win-lose situation. As most of you have said, this is a win-win situation for all of us and for all of you. And I'm sure a lot of partnerships will come out of this. That's one of the beauties when you start with the challenge and you find the solution finders. And that's what happened here today. We see that each one of the teams are looking at the same problem from different perspectives. And that's exactly how we can solve the complex problems. Through partnership, through bringing together our expertise, our resources, our networks. So thank you for all of your efforts in such a short period of time. I'd like to also thank our acceleration team. They've done a great job. Now, just before closing, to make sense out of all of this in terms of the substance of what we're doing, I would like to introduce you Ussal Shahbaz. Ussal? Yeah. Welcome. So Ussal was we had a feasibility study for this whole accelerator program, which lasted about 5 to 6 months. We started last year in August, ended, actually it was March when it was ended. So Ussal was leading an international team of experts who prepared the feasibility study for this accelerator. And we are really grateful to what you have come up with. Now we are testing that feasibility study, and the results that we are seeing really are very encouraging. I would like to ask Ussal to give us an insight into this whole process. You know, why we are doing this, what we're trying to achieve, and where does this whole enterprise of the accelerator stand in the world of accelerators around the world, and in the world of the people who are trying to address SDGs.
Sure. Thank you. This is really an interesting accelerator, and we wanted it to be interesting. There are so many accelerators around the world. I'm sure the teams here have been to some already, and I'm sure the others have listened to and watched many pitches in events such as this. But we wanted this to be a bit different than the others, and I'll tell you why. First of all, one of the outcomes of our feasibility study was that you need to focus on a few specific challenges if you want to create global solutions. Here we chose two, as you know. One is sanitation and the other is the livelihood opportunities with a focus on digital ID. We chose these two, but when this SDG Impact Accelerator becomes an institution, which we want to do it by next year, and I'll come to that, there will be a think tank component, which is what we call the systems lab, that is constantly working on these challenges and inviting entrepreneurs that work on specific challenges. So it will never be a generic accelerator program like many others, where you have different verticals and different teams, and they work together, but there is no real synergy between them. So we really want focus. The reason we want focus is we think real, strong acceleration is dependent upon strong partnerships. And in order to, provide the teams with relevant partners, which we will do from now to the demo day in September, you really need to focus, because you will need a few partners to bring to the, teams. So in our case, this time we chose these two challenges and we tried. We wanted to see if our idea really works or not. If the feasibility report is only a piece of paper, or if it is something that you can, apply in the field. Now we are learning. Our first concern was, of course, whether we will be able to find the teams and bring them to Turkey. We managed to do that. Thank you very much. Now, the second, concern we have, and I hope we will also manage to overcome that in the upcoming 2 months, is whether we will have some, really scalable, investable solutions out of this. In order to be able to do that, I already told about the systems lab and the accelerator. There is a third component to this, which is an impact investment vehicle. So what we want to do at the end of this process is to be able to invest in a few teams that graduate from the accelerator program. We will work with the teams to bring them the necessary partners in the next 2 months to make sure that they have some scalable solutions at the end of this, and then we will bring them to the investors so that when they graduate, they will have the necessary investment and the financing to scale up. This is the team's homework. Our homework is to observe what's happening and refine the feasibility report. And when we institutionalize this by January 2020, which we will announce in Davos in the World Economic Forum, then we will be able to go to our partners, old and new, and say, hey guys, we designed this, we tested in the field, it works, and we refined it, and then we'll do the new cohorts this year. One of the most critical things that we did in the initiation process, which is leading the SDGs, but we also have the right private sector partners, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Eczacıbaşı and Limak. These all have special focuses on development SDGs and our specific challenges. For example, the Gates Foundation is working on the toilet issue. Eczacıbaşı is a toilet producer itself. Limak is one of the largest Turkish conglomerates that is investing in these developed countries. So it all comes together around these partners, and what we will see, I'm talking to the teams now, in the upcoming 2 months is to enhance these partnerships and really get concrete benefits for your businesses from the existing and future partners that we will reach out to. So I think this is, Mustafa, is this enough or?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
No, I really wanted all of you, no, not that you spoke too long, actually I could listen to you more, because what you say is music to my ears, because we are doing something really important here, not because we are doing it, but it has to be done by someone, and that someone happens to be us for the time being. And whoever would like to partner with this accelerator will be more than welcome. So it's a kind of a platform-based approach. So thank you very much, Usta. I couldn't do it better, so you did it. Now I think it's time to close. And when we close, we would like to invite you outside for a family photo. Whoever would like to be in that photo to eternalize this this experience, you are most welcome. Ozan, by the way, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. And I'm happy that I'm testing your patience. Last time I cut a tie. By the way, if you haven't signed his tie that we cut, you can sign it. Burak is here. He's been in this business for a very long time. 8 years ago, I didn't know timing is really important when you become a founder. 8 years ago, I started to tried to build the first impact hub in Turkey, focusing on social entrepreneurs. I failed. Then I started trying to build the first impact investment fund in Turkey through a company in the Netherlands. I failed, but the startups that we put through proceeded. Then we tried to build an accelerator fund, telling all these large companies that you should start investing at early stages. One of them is run by one of the richest families in Turkey. I failed to convince them. Then I gave up. I left Turkey to go and see if I could do something else because nothing was working in Turkey. I went to the Middle East, and all the Turks that I know, all my friends said, "Are you crazy? How can you go and work with the Arabs?" I was a white Turk then, and I said, "Well, I'll try. I mean, what's the worst that can happen?" And I left, and I lived in Saudi Arabia for 3 years. Worked for one of the world's largest technology universities. There I started help building different accelerator programs. We got funding. We had hardcore technology founders get access to funding, get things done. And I was very happy. Then my alma mater called me 3 years ago, and I found them in a different way. And they called me and they said, "We're running an incubator / co-working space. What can you do with it?" And I said, "I can run an accelerator program if you give us funding." So they started giving us a small amount of funding, and we started building something called the Global Turks. We invested in companies from Turkey doing high-tech and commercial technologies, but focusing on a global market immediately when they were born. No one believed that could have been done, and Burak went through a lot of it. No one actually thought we could take Global Turks from here to there. In 3 years' time, we invested more than 20 companies. We put them in Silicon Valley, and now a lot of them are really going strong in different large-scale international accelerator programs. So then, this strange diplomat and the whole gang around him, UNDP, Limak, WFP, Eczacıbaşı, they were cooking things up. I said, we can try it. but it has to be global from day one. I said, okay, we can do that. And then Belize and I, we left the previous investment company and launched this. 15th of May is the day we were officially part of this. 15th of May, not last year, 15th of this year. And it's a great pleasure to see all of you coming here with all your technologies and pitching. It's a great pleasure to all of you to witness this whole craziness. And it's a pleasure to be a part of this whole Partners Gang. Now we'll do the picture outside. All together, you can go crazy after we do a formal picture. And then around 6, we'll start having some food coming over, so don't leave. Mingle around, talk to the founders talk to the other people. Don't approach the program partners because they're ours for an hour. Belize and I and Claire will need to take them and get their feedback of this. And officially, by next week, 1st of August, right? 1st of August, we will be announcing what will happen going forward to which teams. But until then, we'll keep in touch. Don't. Now it will be your turn to slack us back, right? What happened? Please tell us. And then I'm going to ignore every freaking deadline, and you're not going to hear from me after anything. Payback time. So calm down. Don't worry. Keep doing what you're doing. If you need our help in anything, we'll let you know. It's not a matter of we'll choose those ones and we're going to help them, and the other ones we don't care. No, this is a family. You guys should help each other as much as we did. So with that, thank you so much for coming. Go out without delay so we get a nice family picture, and then start mingling. Be around. I love you all. Thank you.
Thank you.